Hi. So there's a reason why I didn't do any of the Switch content when people were just doom and glooming the Switch 2 release. I felt like I already know how that's going to go. People are going to buy it. Nintendo has a baked-in audience of people that are going to purchase the Switch or any Nintendo hardware, regardless of whether you have a problem with it or not. I don't really play into that stuff because it's really noise to me. So when the Switch actually broke records, I was like, yeah, I figured that's how that was going to go. So as Switch 2 breaks records worldwide, Sony reminds us that the PlayStation 5 still exists. The Switch 2 has been out for a little over a week now. It's already breaking records in multiple regions. Nintendo has confirmed that the console sold 3.5 million units within the first 4 days of sale, but it's also become the fastest selling Nintendo console in the US, UK, and Japan, the latter region specifically. The Switch 2 also beat out the PlayStation 2 to become the fastest selling console of all time, which is wild considering the Switch was kind of still running neck and neck with the PlayStation 2. I remember, what was it, a couple months back, where the Switch was like, oh yeah, we're hitting this number of sales, whatever, and we're actually hitting a big sales milestone. And suddenly Sony found about a couple million PlayStation 2s in a warehouse somewhere and managed to sell them to people. And it's like, no, we're still the highest selling console. And I guess the Switch 2 basically just wiped the floor with that. So hey, it is what it is. Naturally, thoughts are inevitably turning towards Nintendo's direct competition and whether the likes of Sony or Microsoft might be concerned about the Switch 2's monumental success. Now, I feel like the monumental success of the Switch 2 is probably going to... I feel like the competition is going to feel it. Everybody's playing buddy-buddy these days, whereas Sony and Microsoft are kind of doing their own thing. Microsoft's trying to put their stuff on everything possible with the Xbox campaign, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But Sony, I don't know if Sony's directly competing via the PlayStation Portal, but they are trying to create a handheld kind of alternative to the PlayStation 5, despite the fact that the PlayStation 5 was necessary for the Portal in the first part of its lifespan, and there was a patch recently that kind of adjusted it. So according to SIE's new president and CEO, Hideki Nishino, during a business segment fireside chat, the company isn't particularly bothered, according to VGC. When asked if the Switch 2's improved specs and Nintendo's relationship with third-party publishers caused any concern, Nishino was keen to reiterate the appeal of the PlayStation 5 against its competitors. We closely monitored the overall gaming industry, including the actions of other market participants. Additionally, catalysts in the market are great for the industry as a whole, as they invigorate the excitement and demand more broadly, so it's great to have people launching new things. However, as I mentioned previously, we have a differentiated strategy. PlayStation 5 is designed for an immersive gaming experience, and that includes the innovative DualSense controller features as well. I honestly don't see how that differentiates itself from the Switch. The Switch has the Joy-Cons, and the actual Joy-Cons have all sorts of tactile features too, with the newest one being you can flip the Joy-Cons on their sides and make a mouse, which works for FPSs. And both the companies have tactile features in their controllers. So I don't know. This sounds really odd to me. We believe the PlayStation 5 level performance is required to achieve a great experience on big screens, and in this way we have provided unique offering for players and creators in this current console generation. However, publisher strategies are increasingly shifting towards being a multi-platform. So more platforms can run the same game, which is great from a creator's perspective. Among those platforms, our mission was that we will continue to be the best place to play and publish. So there's a video that I want to do that kind of talks about the concept of exclusives, and I want to actually expand on this a bit. But I feel as though when console companies, basically publishers, consoles, whatever you want to call them, when they depend on third parties to carry them, that's probably the most dangerous thing you possibly do. And that's the problem I have. When it comes to exclusives and the third-party aspect, I think that third parties are free to put their devices on or their games on whatever platform they want. But when a developer when a console developer puts too much emphasis on focusing on the third parties to carry them forward, that's when you see problems. This is why Microsoft has gone into where they've been with purchasing companies such as Activision Blizzard, Bethesda, and so on. Even purchasing those companies doesn't necessarily work out, because you have to consider that you don't necessarily know what is going on in those companies until the rubber hits the road, which is something that we found out with Redfall and also Starfield. But I digress. As such, we have empowered our creators to leverage our offerings and services to create amazing, unique experiences for players with high engagement and great monetization opportunities. We have done this consistently as the industry and the competitive dynamics have evolved. And of course, PlayStation Studios, our franchises, have a specific role in showcasing the PlayStation experience and in strengthening the player's vision with us. Now, to be fair, Sony, the PS5 is a great system, though we'd be lying if we said that its first-party offering was thriving at the moment. Sony has struggled recently with its ill-conceived focus on live service games, resulting in the highly publicized failure of Concord, the cancellation of The Last of Us Online, and ongoing concerns around Bungie's Marathon. Marathon is actually going through some interesting problems. It looks like they're trying to delay it or trying to right the ship on that as much as possible, but I saw some things for a potential video, or if you catch us on RNH, every Thursdays on Twitch around 10 o'clock at night, you'll probably see us cover that in a future episode. So hey, so Xbox has announced the ROG Ally X and ROG Ally variants, which were revealed during the Xbox showcase. It's a handheld computer, much like the Steam Deck, but it has features that are specific to the Xbox mainly. It runs the Game Pass service, and it also runs Steam and a few other things here. We're going to read a bit about that because I'm interested in this, but I also have some questions that I kind of want to get out there. The ROG Xbox Ally and Ally X are two handhelds crafted in collaboration with Asus that combine the power of the Xbox with the freedom you expect in Windows. Both launch holiday 2025 in select markets, with additional markets to follow. Players can look forward to an approachable gaming experience that travels with you wherever you go, featuring several new first-of-their-kind features on both devices, from an immersive Xbox full-screen experience, an aggregated gaming library with access to installed games from leading PC storefronts, and more. We've optimized Windows 11 to be easy to use on the Ally and Ally X from the moment you power on. Game Bar makes it easy to return home, browse your library, launch or quit games, chat with friends, open apps, adjust settings, and more. Now with the integration of Asus's innovative Armory Crate, Game Bar also gives you streamlined access to advanced device and input controls. Details like the lock screen and task switcher have also been adjusted for easy navigation with the controller. Because these handhelds run Windows, you have access to games you can't get anywhere else, so you can enjoy the full freedom and versatility of PC gaming, download games from your favorite storefront, run apps like Discord, watch your favorite streamers on Twitch, and play your favorite mods all straight from the Xbox experience. The choice is yours. So it looks like they're kind of going the same route that they have been with their previous consoles, trying to be more of a media device more so than an actual console, but it's trying to do everything possible because Xbox kind of established that they wanted to be the one-stop shop for everybody, and a lot of people were in competition for your attention, so having to be able to use your handheld PC device to look at people play games on Twitch or YouTube and turn around and play games and access things like Steam or other storefronts, whatever. It's one of those aspects of wanting to be everything to everyone. And I don't know if that's necessarily a great idea, because if you actually narrow down your purpose to specific niches, I think you get more out of it personally. But maybe I'm just silly. Maybe I'm just a silly old man and I don't necessarily know what I'm talking about. There's an Xbox button. With a dedicated Xbox button, players have access to chat apps, settings through enhanced Game Bar overlay, allowing you to quickly switch between running apps and games. Contoured grip, created with player comfort in mind and using the same design principles as Xbox wireless controllers. The Xbox Ally and Ally X feature contoured hand grips to accommodate a wider range of sizes. The accessibility features optimized for handhelds using familiar accessibility features from Xbox consoles and Windows PCs. Early access to games from Xbox, leading PC storefronts, and more. So this is giving you a lot of things, and it's giving you two different types of specs. Where the Ally has they both run AMD processors that deliver premium gaming experiences. My computer runs an AMD Ryzen 5, and it's pretty fast for what it's worth. The Ally offers us great value for anyone looking to take their favorite games wherever they want, whether it's Expedition 33, Gears of War Reloaded, Lies of Peace, South of Midnight. Ryzen Z2 processor is in the system, balancing performance and power consumption to maximize battery life without sacrificing gameplay quality. 16 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigabytes of SSD storage. Only reason why I am kind of talking about this now because I see little teeny cracks in this whole thing. Particularly, I'm a little confused, and please don't get me wrong. I'm super excited for the ROG Ally X, and we'll get it day one. But people talk about this as if it's revolutionary in its features. But the fact is, all the things it can do are already on the Ally that is already out and has been out for years, and every other Windows handheld like the Lenovo, etc. You can access all storefronts, play all games from the Xbox, PC, Epic, and so on. That includes PlayStation games on Steam. You can also optionally stream your games from cloud or remote console streaming. Everything on the ROG Xbox Ally can be done on existing devices. The true game changer is that it will be more convenient with the unified Windows overlay, and that it will have more performance because of the better APU, better RAM, and better battery life. And more importantly, Windows stuff gets turned off in the background. But everyone talks about having an access to all storefronts like it's new and a game changer. Windows PC handheld owners have been enjoying that for years, so why is it that people feel nil? Now, this is console wars. I can tell you right off the bat, this is probably console wars thinking. This is another thing that people have kind of been pointing out. I don't want to burst bubbles, and I don't want to pee on people's parades. I'm just kind of putting things out there. I was like, some of these things are valid complaints, and some of these things are valid statements. I don't necessarily know particularly if people really understand what they're getting into here. This is an Xbox is the worst marketing campaign I've ever seen for a gaming company. Is everything's an Xbox, nothing is an Xbox. And this is a problem I had. If an Xbox can be ran on just about every device, but you have two consoles. You have the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S, which were these were being hyped heavily and were supposed commodities back in 2020. They went out of their way to promote that, but then proceeded to just completely push those off to the side to sell the idea that you can play Xbox games anywhere. You don't need an Xbox Series S and Series X. You cannibalize your own console for that. And I don't necessarily know if that's a great idea. From a business aspect, I see you're trying to get as many people on Game Pass as possible. But the problem I'm sitting here, and this is one of the issues that I see, why did you manufacture two consoles? So this is the image that I'm talking about in particular. This is an Xbox. This is an Xbox for your lap. This is an Xbox that tag along. And that's a Steam Deck, mind you. This is a cat box. This is an Xbox that goes on the wall. This is TV, smart TV. This is an Xbox that makes calls, your cell phone. This is a bento box. This is an Xbox on the inside. So it's a Fire TV. And this is an Xbox that you wear. And this is still an Xbox. So you have bookmarked in this whole ad is both of these two. But you have two consoles that you have kind of made obsolete because nobody is really going to buy those consoles if you can play Xbox games on everything but that. There's a reason why I became a PC gamer in this current console generation, and it's mainly because I was looking at how the PlayStation 5 was going and how everything was kind of leaning towards this all digital future that people are trying to push. Even though physical copies are still a mainstay, people are still going back to playing older games. People are actually seeking out like old media such as vinyl records, and cassette tapes are now back in fashion. That's weird. This whole push towards an all digital future and trying to multimedia out your console, or multimedia whoring, whatever you want to call it, I don't think this is giving a positive outcome. And I think it's diminishing your actual consoles, and I feel like it's cannibalizing the sales of those consoles. I hear more about like Game Pass's sales and Game Pass's like wins going on in the industry than I do for like sales of Xbox Series S and X. I just feel like you're approaching this in a way that's kind of not necessarily helping in the long run. And I don't know if Phil Spencer is planning on going further forward into this, or is he just taking the Xbox 360 failure or what was it, the Xbox One failure, excuse me, are he taking that to heart, and that's why he wants a multimedia approach that goes towards different types of boxes? And I do agree, though, if everything is super, nothing is super. It takes the things that you're ultimately selling and it diminishes that value. And I don't know if that's a good plan going forward. I don't think that's really good going forward. Honestly, that's how I feel. So here's the thing, knowing that and saying that and getting it off my chest, I want to take a look at the prices for the ROG Ally and the ROG Ally X. Since these consoles or these handheld PCs are variants of the source material. So I'm just trying to get a good gauge of how much this is going to cost in holiday 2025, because nobody's talking about the price. I've seen all these conversations about this. Nobody's talking about the price, and I'm interested. And I do want to have something particularly that I want to get off my chest, but I have to show you what this price is. So this is Best Buy. Best Buy is offering the ROG Ally 7-inch 120 hertz FDH 1080p gaming handheld. This is AMD Ryzen 7 Z1, extreme processor, 512 gigabytes Windows storage, or storage Windows 11. It's $649.99 base model. So the Ally X7 is $899.99, almost $900. So I'm gonna go over to Amazon real quick. Amazon is offering a ROG Ally 7-inch 120 Hz FDH 1080p gaming handheld touchscreen, AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme 16 gigabyte RAM. This is $649.99. There's an additional one over here. So this is the AMD Ryzen Z1. This is the AMD Radeon fingerprint, Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.1, Windows 11 Home with a port expander. This is $599.99, which is $600. So it's off the listing price, which is $689.99, I believe. And then the Ally X is $1,499. So this it has pretty much the same features: extreme processor, 24 gigabytes RAM, Windows 11, 1 year warranty upgrade Black Edition with 2 terabyte Gen 4 SSD and Windows 11 Pro. So they're offering that for $1,499. If anybody was talking about how the Switch 2 being $450 was too damn high, and proceeds to purchase these at the prices that they're given, I don't want to hear a damn word to come out of anybody's mouth going forward. I don't want to hear a damn thing. I don't want to hear a damn word. I really don't. These are Xbox. These are just the standard ROG Allies or whatever. The Xbox variants are going to have additional features, and I feel like their prices are going to be above what this is. Unless they're going to take a market loss like Nintendo would in order to, say, put it out at $600 or $550 just to kind of make sure that people have one in their hands that want them. I don't necessarily see it being cheaper than the $450 price point. Now, I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's perfectly fine. I'm not here to argue, and I'm not here to hold water for Nintendo in this aspect. I'm just finding it interesting that there's a lot of people that said instead of getting a Switch 2, you should get a Steam Deck, or you should get a ROG Ally, or any of this other stuff. I have a Steam Deck, so as somebody who owns a Steam Deck, I get a lot of value out of it. I might not necessarily do things that people normally should do on a Steam Deck, like play Steam games. I do play emulated games on my Steam Deck. But I'm telling you right now, when people deal in the console war shit, I want you to keep the same energy that you had for the Switch 2 for this. Because if somebody tells me that a $450 price point is too damn high to purchase, and then turn around and spend $649 to $1,000 getting any variant of the Xbox ROG Ally, if the price point is such, and I feel like this is probably going to be within the same realm, because they're going to have to at least get the manufacturing costs down, and they're going to have to break even somehow. If they decide to go at a loss and they make it cheap, more power to you. But I have this feeling that people are going to look at that and be like, God dang. Like, and if the same people that actually were shit talking the Switch 2 turn around and buy this without like even questioning anything, that's the type of stuff that you need to look at as a consumer. And you have to understand that the people that were basically talking that good shit back then, they're holding water for their own camp, but they don't give a fuck about anything else. And all they want to do is manipulate you into buying something that they want you to buy. It's like why anybody buying a Switch 2 is a nerd and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, I work 40 hours a week. I bust my ass. I have to work overtime sometimes. I have to work 12-hour days sometimes. Whatever I do with my money is none of your damn business. Mind your fucking business. Go do something. Get out of my face. Like, that irritates me. And the only reason why that irritates me is it's console worship. And it kind of proves what I was saying, that I feel like there are certain people that exist in this space, especially on Twitter and other social media places, that will work on behalf of companies, and they will say some things online to get you to do something that they want to do, and they get a little fee off of that just for doing what they're doing. Agents of chaos, and they exist primarily to work on behalf of these companies. They're trying to get you and your money separated and moved into their direction. So be smart. Don't be hypnotized by these charlatans. It's your money, and you do whatever you feel is right with it. I'm not going to judge you. Anyways, I'm out of here. Thank you for joining me for this. See you next boss fight. Take care.